Good evening. I'm hoping all of you are doing well, as I always hope with every go live tonight, and that you had a very good and productive day. For me, I met a really good friend this morning and I tried Turkish coffee for the very first time. And I can report that it is not for the faint of heart. It is a very concentrated, strong coffee, beautifully presented. What I'll do is I'll post a picture in the group to show you what it looked like. It's beautiful as far as the presentation, but again, not for the faint of heart. And I tried a lot of various Bosnian desserts, and then this thing had like a crispy type bread with like spinach and cheese interwoven in it, which was pretty good. Let's see here. So I see I've got two people on here with me. I think one might be Jen, and I cannot make out the other person, so forgive me. You'll have to say hi. I don't know who else the other person is. And so I can say it was great. And then I came home and I have been deep cleaning my kitchen like it is no joke. And then we also pulled out our couch in the living room, and I've got a cat named Hermione who is like Dobby from Harry Potter, and she collects socks. And I think she keeps trying to free the Tenehiro family. She'll come up frequently from the basement, like where we have our laundry room, with a sock in her mouth. And it's like, I think in her mind, she's like, "You're free, Tenehiros, you're free." But see, we don't ever go anywhere. So I think that's why she keeps bringing us our socks. But there was like, I don't know, like half of a laundry basket full of socks that she had brought up here. Like, that cat does not play around. And then we had burgers for supper. And yeah, it was a good day. And I think, given all my cleaning in my kitchen, I'll lean toward making more candles tomorrow because I really enjoy making those. And I see my hubby's on here. Tim, I was just telling everybody about Hermione and all of the socks that were discovered underneath and behind the couch. Like how that's an ongoing thing since we adopted her. It's crazy. So feel free to let me know how your day went in the comments below. And tonight we are going to continue our journey throughout the Suit of Cups. And we are going to discuss the Eight of Cups, which I think it's good that we're actually getting to this card this week, because on my group tarot reading I did for our group on Sunday, we got an Eight of Cups. And like, I saw intuitively something totally different than, say, the base meaning of the card. So I thought that was kind of like interesting too. But, the beauty of tarot. So with this, we have the Roman numeral for 8. And we see this man. And again, gender doesn't matter in tarot. It's always neutral. We're talking about the overall energy of the card. This person is walking away, and they are leaving 8 cups that are turned upright. And you got to remember, with tarot and cups, we're always talking about emotions. Hi, Christy. Hi, Mom. Welcome. Good evening. Glad you guys are here, of course. And so the significance of this, with the 8 of Cups, the card is talking about things that we thought in our life would make us happy and bring us joy. And maybe at one time it did, but then things have went stale. So this could be in reference to a friendship, a romantic relationship, or even careers. To where even if it meets your needs, as far as like, say if you get paid well, you've got that job security, you give, say, the relationship or the people you work for, and there's nothing left for them to give you either. So this is actually also common for people who, say if they're at their max pay scale, there's nowhere left for them to go career-wise. They're left feeling like this card. So even though these cups are upright and they're not on their sides or upside down to where they would be empty or somehow lacking fluid in them, it just doesn't do it for this person anymore. And so when someone gets this card, it means that it's time to generally cut ties with relationships or careers. It also shows that it shouldn't be a dramatic end either, to where the relationship, in whatever shape or form that takes, has played itself out. And more than likely, the other party is aware of this feeling as well. And so basically, what I discovered researching this is, you see how we have a gap between these two cups? One perspective is that this person is going off to see what is missing in their life. And so they're taking off on this adventure into the unknown. And we see these mountainous regions, these rocky terrains. So it's going to be new, a lot of unknown. However, this person is willing to do that in order to be happier. So it could also, when someone gets this card, mean that they're about to travel. It could also mean that they're on a spiritual journey as well. So what we're seeing here is we have a crescent moon, but then we also have the sun coming into play. And one thing that I read on this is, so we're moving from like the moon, the energy of the moon, to more of when you think of solar, like the sun. So this person is looking for that feeling of like excitement, energy, warmth, fulfillment, versus what is known, if that makes sense. And they're following the flow of the river. So they're not going against it. So this individual's kind of going to go with the flow and kind of see where it takes them. So I thought that was really cool to reflect upon. And the sky is not stormy or anything. It's a really pretty shade of blue. And even the ground, except for where we have the water from the river, is generally speaking, it's yellow, for the exception of some of the darker terrain here, which I think is just kind of like, it could be a little ominous and scary. Anytime that we start something new and leave something that we know is safe and secure, surely, yes, that is a scary feeling. However, it's come to a point where this has played itself out and it's just time to say goodbye and move on. Now, say if someone, if you do your spread and you get it and it's in reverse, that means that either somebody is leaving way too soon without giving a matter, like a relationship or a career, enough time. Or it could also be representative of abandonment issues. So this could mean that somebody has left someone's life with little to short notice, and the person, either it's yourself or the person you're reading for, is feeling very vulnerable and very abandoned. So I thought that was an interesting viewpoint on this card as well. So I'm going to look at my notes to kind of summarize what we've been going over with this. So for the meanings, we've got departure, change, slipping away into the night. Again, this is not a dramatic exit. This is pretty well on both sides. They know it's coming. It's leaving relationships or careers that have went stale, sadness with little regret, following the path of the river, going with the flow, no longer emotionally invested, a time of travel. So I had reviewed about the gap in the cups, searching for what is missing, which I really like that prerogative on that, and how we have a crescent moon and then eclipse of the sun, meaning a shift from our solar, well, here it says it's a shift from solar to lunar energy. Actually, I guess it would depend on the interpretation. Because lunar, when you think of the moon card from the major arcana, the path's not very well illuminated, and there is more of the unknown. And then with the solar, we've got more so of an illuminated path. So I could see this viewpoint. Actually, I think I had it flipped in my mind. So it's saying that we're going from solar to lunar. So we're going from a well-established, well-illuminated path to one of the unknown, which would be more so like the moon, which would be lunar. And then the number 8 is like the infinity symbol. So think of the shape of the number 8. So basically that is significant because it means that this is a repetitive cycle that somebody is going on their entire life. Now, say if they have the same patterns and it's just not working out. No matter what they do, they keep kind of going back to where they started. If this goes into reverse, with this being the 8, it means that there's a need to break that pattern, that it does not serve the person, so the reader or the person you're reading for very well. And it's also, as far as the number 8, it was referenced as Sapphira, which is also known as Hod, H-O-D, as in Delta, realm of Mercury, meaning there's harmony between thought and emotion. And I went into the reverse meanings. So I talked about the feelings of abandonment, someone leaving you, or say the person you're reading for, staying in a relationship or career when it's well past time for you to leave and move on to something else. And then, of course, leaving too soon or staying too long. Basically, it's not the time to leave. So see, it's like the bigger picture. So it could go either way when it's reversed. And then as far as additional meanings, so we've got boredom, unhappiness. It's what someone looked for wasn't as pleasurable or exciting as they thought it would be. And then the mountains stand for new challenges. And then it's stepping away from the familiar. So I feel like we've covered everything that I wrote down for this card. And again, as you guys know, this is a card from the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is like the foundation of tarot. And so now we'll look at the other cards to compare to see what symbols that we're seeing that's in common. So here we have this crow. And we have the 8 cups, and look here. So you know how sometimes the artist takes liberties and how the image can be totally different from Rider-Waite-Smith. Here we'd still have that gap. So this little guy is going off into the mountainous unknown, looking for something else that's going to make it happy because its current way of life is not bringing it pleasure and happiness. And so in addition to the cloud cover, again, we don't have full visibility. It's rocky, mountainous. We know that we have obstacles and uncertainty ahead. We also have a crescent moon with no sun, and this would be like the crone phase. So when I show you guys cards, it's like a mirror image, so it flips it. So this, when I look at the card, it shows it's like somebody's at the very end of their journey as far as all of this goes. Now with finances, it could also mean that even though somebody makes some pretty good money with their work, that again, this, even though the cup's upright and there's fluid, whether that be water, wine, whatever is in this cup, it does not bring them that internal happiness and joy that they need and desire from life, and they're leaving it behind. So that means they have to adjust. So they may need to budget a bit better and maybe go into something like career-wise that would pay less. But then if they're happier at it, then that's the whole point to leaving what was stable and played out anyway. So I thought that was cool. And then this is a good image where we've got this lady and her back is to us, and we don't see all of the cups. We don't see the 8 cups, but here we see 1 cup, and it looks like there's a fire in it. you know? And so when you think of fire, we're thinking like wand energy. Even though we're talking about cups, we're talking about creativity, passion, sex, drive, the things that excite you, right? That's what the flames mean. So basically, it could be just her being like, you know what, what's in this cup? I don't really care for it. I need to start over. It could be she could have burned it symbolically. So if it's alcohol, maybe it lit right up. And even though it's not a very good thing to leave an unsupervised flame in an area, but see, this character is. And she's walking toward the sun. So she's seeking that illumination and warmth and joy that over here she really doesn't have, you know? So I thought that was cool. And then with the unknown is kind of receding off into the corners of the card. I like that. So, and let's see here. And then this one we got when I did our group's reading on Sunday. And so when I read for our group, my intuition told me basically in a nutshell, this door is not meant for Alice. Like she's got all these barriers up and a pig that doesn't even look right because it's wearing the garment of a baby. And she looks rather not amused and she's walking away. So that's what I saw intuitively when I looked at our spread. Now, looking at the base meaning, this could also mean that Alice worked hard, maybe stayed in Wonderland a little bit longer than she should have, and she acquired money and wealth and prestige and this beautiful house and a pet pig that she treated like a baby. And then she has these pretty sunflowers right outside her door, and it looks like a really nice place. But see, she's not happy anymore. And so this is symbolic of her leaving it behind. And maybe she's thinking it's time for me to go home or to some other place in Wonderland because this just doesn't do it for me anymore. So see, I think that was symbolic of this card. But see, that's the cool thing with tarot is it is symbolic of the life journey between the majors and the minors and the events that play out in their lives. But it's so much like a story. And there's so many different ways to interpret these cards, especially when they flow like a story does. Now, this one shows a lady, and I love that head wrap. She's so pretty. I like her dress too. And so there's this house in the background in some questionable condition. And if you look, so right back here, we have those cups. So there's 7 upright cups, but it's like she thought to take one with her, but as she's walking away, she's like, you know what? I don't even want to take this with me either, and had a change of heart as she dumped out the contents as she's walking away. So this shows that, yeah, she was hesitant to cut those ties completely, but ultimately that's what she did because whatever it is, relationship, career, what have you, it was not bringing her happiness and joy anymore. So even though technically, yes, she could have stayed and lived in the house and gotten by day to day, that's no way to live. And so she's deciding, hey, I look good. I got my nice dress on. She's confident. She's making eye contact. And she knows she's more than just the material things and that there's a greater meaning and purpose out there. And she's going to find it, you know? So I thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, I always leave us off with one not based in Rider-Waite-Smith. So here is an owl, and I love little owls in general. And this is a little barn owl, and it looks like there's like a little fairy that's camped out right by the owl. And it looks like they're both looking at something. And the grass doesn't look so great. Maybe it's been a really hot summer, or maybe it's fall. And it's a little hazy around the two of them. But again, if you pull this card and it's an 8 of Cups and you're learning tarot, you're not going to get all that symbolism that we have with the original. So, yes, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but I never know if I'm going to have somebody new tuning in. It's not heard my spiel. But if you're learning tarot, get you a deck based in Rider-Waite-Smith. If you just absolutely adore a non-conventional deck that is not Rider-Waite-Smith based, go ahead and get you a Rider-Waite-Smith deck or the book, and at least put the two together so that you learn the base meanings. But more so importantly, you develop your intuition. But see, again, beautiful art. I love the art in this deck, but it does nothing for me as far as that goes. So now I'll hold the rest of them up so you guys can see about the commonalities. I'm trying to get them in pretty good here. With a Rider-Waite-Smith, which is our foundation. Yep, sorry again about that glare. You guys know there's not a lot I can do about the glare from that light shining on them. And then there's that. And then there's that. Again, I like it when it carries over at least some of the common symbols. That makes sense to me versus none at all, So that sums us up on the Eight of Cups. And if you have any questions or anything you would like to contribute as to your understanding of the Eight of Cups, feel free to leave it in the comments for our group to see and totally reflect upon. Or, of course, in the group chat, the Crow's Nest. And then, of course, you guys know that I'll download this and put it onto YouTube so that you can easily reference it if you ever need to watch it again or brush up. And then if you live in the St. Louis area, I'll be at the Grand Slam tomorrow from 5 to 10 with Sharon and Kyle. If you guys would like a reading for fun, or if there's something that's been eating at you, please come by and say hi and grab some food. And I think that does it for tonight. And I am so glad that you all are here. You make my heart happy. So thank you for being present and supporting me. It means more than you will ever know. And I hope you have a good night and keep on your tarot journey. Hoping you guys are consistent and you've got a deck and you're at least pulling a card a day would be ideal. And get used to looking at those images and reflecting and really growing on your intuitive interpretations of the cards. So I'm here if you need me. Just shoot me a message or whatnot. Good night.